this video. I look crazy on camera. I'm a bit nervous to do this video because I just feel like if I talk about this topic, I don't know if I'm going to make any sense. I don't know if it's going to be very, um, what's the word? Like if I touch on this topic, it's going to make me look hypocritical, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm a bit worried about doing this topic, but I'm going to try and do it to the best of my ability. I'm going to try my best. I'm also doing this video with a banging headache. I actually took a shot like of garlic, right, just for health benefits, and it's giving me a headache. I've never had that effect before, but it's having that effect on me right now. But we're gonna still do this video anyway. I put my glasses on because I thought maybe it'll help with the headache, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just being delusional. Who knows? So, guys, I wanted to do this topic, but I'm gonna break it into different parts. So this will be part one, and I might talk about it in a different way on another video. We'll see, because I might say this and then I'll never talk about it again, but we'll see what happens. But I want to talk about like conversations. Like I feel like communication is so important today, and I feel like in today's society we use so many forms of communication. Like we can talk face to face, we can talk on social media, we can talk via text, by call. Um, Hello, Luke. How are you? I'm so happy you're here. We need you on this live. So I'm just talking about communication and how communication is very, very important today, and there's so many forms of it because obviously back in the day communication was very limited. If you notice, a lot of people used to write via letter, and obviously letters take a very long time to be sent to the person that you're sending it to, and that was a form of communication. If you guys remember, like pen pals, like I remember when I was a child, I wanted to have a pen pal because I thought it was fascinating to be able to send a letter to someone across the world and send gifts and receive gifts, but I never ever had one. I remember I used to like collect magazines, and they used to have pen pals in there, and they would even advertise pen pals and say, this is me. If you want to contact me as a pen pal, you've got to call this number, the magazine number, just so they can do their checks, and then you can get pen pal. And I remember as a child, I used to say to my mom, I really want a pen pal, but I never ever done it. I don't know why. I feel like children tend to make plans, right? They make plans and then they forget about it. So they may say they want something, but if the parent doesn't take action on it, they'll forget about it later on. I thought of your self-help questions, so I guess I walked and exercised today for once. Well done. Now that's motivating me because I need to exercise. I've been planning to exercise and I haven't done that yet. And how did you find your walk? Because I find walking very like therapeutic. Like it clears your head. It helps you to think clear. Like I did a healing walk on holiday when I was in Greece back in 2019, and I was on the beach on my own. And I'm gonna sound crazy right now, but I literally did a monologue to myself. I spoke out loud to myself. No one could see me, but if anyone saw me from far, maybe I would have looked crazy, but it was so healing. And I was just walking along the beach. It was a really nice long walk, and I was just out talking to myself. I wasn't shouting, I was talking at a normal, tone, and I was talking to myself and telling me what next steps I need to take in my life, because I was dealing with the guy that I was talking about in the podcast. I was dealing with him at the time, and I knew that I needed to cut ties with him. So that walk was helping, you know, to reassure myself to like cut ties with this person. Obviously, I didn't do it straight away, but it was almost like a self talk. Like it was really healing. I feel like walking's very good for your soul, especially if you're walking along with no music and you're just in your thoughts. It's really healing. A lot of people don't like to be in their own thoughts. They just like to have the TV on, have music on. They like to have company. They're scared to be alone. Um, and what type of exercise did you do? Exercise is really good as well because it gives you good I can't say the word I can't say the word. It gives you dopamine basically. So it helps you feel good. It's very good. Exercise is really good for your health, and it helps you to live a longer life as well. Let's see what you said. All my relationships have been long distance. Yeah. I used to choose people that lived at a distance because um it's almost like a void in a way. I can't remember what it was, but I do know what it is now, but I kind of don't want to talk about it on this live. But it kind of like, how can I explain it in a way that I don't have to go into detail? It kind of like proved my point, is what I'm saying. So sometimes people choose people at a distance, maybe because it gives them time to have their independent life and time away from people, but it also prevents commitment. Not for everybody, because some people choose someone at a distance so they can be in a committed relationship with them, and they do make it work. They do make an effort to move to that person. But some people, I think it's to do with attachment styles. I'm not very good at knowing which one's which, but some people are very avoidant, so maybe they choose partners that they don't have to commit to. Something like that. But I used to be like that. Yeah, I definitely used to be like that. I used to choose people from a distance. I kind of liked, I might be covering my microphone again. I kind of like the fact that because they lived at a distance, um, what's the word? Because I lived at a distance, I kind of had someone, but at the same time I didn't. So it was the thought of knowing I had someone. It's really weird. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, that's what kept me single for a very long time, choosing long distance relationships. Oh, you have beautiful weather. Oh, you have spring in the UK. It's freezing. The weather should be getting warmer now, but it's absolutely cold in the UK. It feels like winter. Well, it is winter, but it should be like in March. You start to see a change of the weather, but no, no. Walking is your thing for nature walks. Nature's beautiful. I want to do push-ups. You should start doing push-ups, even if it's doing one. See how much you can handle and then challenge yourself. Ah, you had a nice long walk. Communication works for long distance. Interesting. Communication is a relationship in a way. Spring here in California. Ah, 10 and 20. Ah, I like that you're aiming for 10 and 20. You should you should journal it as well, like write about it, because that will motivate you to keep going. It's amazing, like when you do exercises and you push yourself further and further, it keeps you going and it gives you a sense of direction as well. Oh, I'm lazy too. It's not very good to be lazy though. Laziness gets you bad results. It's good to push yourself and challenge yourself. Yeah, so as I was saying about communication, because you just said that communication is a relationship in a way, and it's works for long distance. So maybe it gives you a chance to get to know that person on a deeper level, maybe. Um, but yeah, it does go with what I was saying about pen pal as well, because you can take that time out to write to them like a actual conversation, and then they have to respond to you and update you on their life, which is beautiful about letters, because once that letter gets to that person, so much has happened in their life that they can finally update you. But if you notice with social media, when we're communicating with each other, people in general, you're updating them second by second, day by day. Is too quick, so that you get bored of the conversation. There's not much to talk about because it's almost like um you're hearing the same thing. And this could go along with what I want to talk about, how people do get tired of people in conversations and it becomes controlling and they don't want to hear what people want to say. We're going to definitely get into that. Push ourselves for energy, yeah. And I find that how you spend the first hour of your day is very crucial. It's very important. It sets the time for your day as well. Like if you want to achieve like something, do it in the first hour of the day of waking up, or at least in the morning, and you would be so surprised that you did it. Goals written and enjoy life together. I need to listen more. Ah, I'm curious, what do you need to listen to exactly? Could it be audiobooks? Could it be people around you or people that inspire you? Um, yeah, when you write goals, it's more powerful. It helps you, it pushes you further to achieve it. And enjoying life is so important. Yeah, so I'm gonna start off to others we want to be around. It depends, because sometimes people that you are around may not give you best the best I don't want to say advice. They may not be giving you the right guidance. It depends on the person. I always find that it's better to be guided by the people that you want to be like, the people that you want to become like, I think. Sometimes our enemies can give us the best advice as well. You'd be surprised, like anyone can advise us, but It depends, and probably you notice something in yourself that you need to change, and they're telling you, and you feel like you need to listen more. It really depends. Thank you so much, Luke. God bless you too. So I want to like the theme of my series. So I want to do self-reflection. Self. I can never speak on these lives. I want to do a self-reflection diary on communication and how it's affected me, because it's something that's been heavy on my mind. But we're not going to dive into what it is right now in this topic. But something that's been affecting my mental health, and it's to do with communication. And I'm going to talk about that in more videos to come. I'm going to talk more about it, but I'm not going to talk about it in this one. I'm going to keep it to one topic, right? Even though it feels natural to talk about it, I just feel like once I've gained clarity on the situation, it'd be easy for me to cover it instead of me speaking from a place of hurt and sadness, if you know what I mean. Like, I want to be able to look back and reflect on it and be like, okay, yeah, I felt this way, but the bigger picture of the this is the bigger picture of the situation. I always like to look at the bigger picture of things, because there's so many perspectives to a situation, and sometimes we don't see clearly, and that's why God always advises us not to lean on our own understanding, because sometimes how we see things may not be the actual truth. Like, we um in a lot of situations we don't know what the truth is. Like, there's no right or wrong answer. It's how we perceive it. But obviously God knows the truth, and he knows what the true answer is. But from life experiences and things that we've been through, um we will perceive things a certain way. And especially like based on my past, I may talk to someone and only see them in the way of my past, is what I'm trying to say. Until I can get to know that person on an actual level and they explain to me who they are as a person, I will see them as my past. And this is bad when people try and group people and say that they're like this because of this group of people. And when Christians get labeled a lot as well, and people will choose not to listen to Christians because of their viewpoint on Christians. That's why it's good to get to know people individually. Oh yeah, Tanya, what is your nationality or ethnicity? So I'm British, but I'm Jamaican heritage. So both parents are Jamaican. My mum was born in the UK and my father was from Jamaica. My mum's grandparents immigrated over to the UK when they got invited over. I can't remember what year, but when UK invited like the Caribbean over to the UK and the Asians, that's when they came over. So yeah. But I would say my culture is very westernized. I am in touch with my Jamaican heritage a little, but I am very westernized, I would say. Um, but I'm very intrigued of the South American culture. Like, I like to speak Spanish. I've always wanted to visit South America and learn more about their culture. So, yeah, I do love languages, and I love connecting with people around the world. I love meeting people around the world. It's so beautiful. I love learning about cultures. I think it's a beautiful thing to experience living in another country and living with the locals, so you can see how they live. It's fascinating, and it's beautiful when you find like other cultures similar to yourselves. um yeah. And what's your ethnicity, Luke? I'm guessing, because you said you're from England, I'm guessing, um I'm going to leave that for you to tell me. um yeah, so you're English, Dutch, and Irish. Very interesting. Why did I think Irish? I don't know why Irish came to my mind, because a lot of people do have Irish in their background. Yeah, very interesting. Okay, so my theme for this communication self-reflection diaries is um it's from James chapter 1 verse 19. So be quick to listen and slow to speak. This has been like a verse that has always stayed with me when I first learned about it, because I find that um a lot of people, especially myself, when I'm talking to someone, I want to respond quickly. I want to, as soon as they're speaking, I'm calculating what I want to say next instead of actually listening to what they're trying to say. And this is a problem in communication, because when we do this, people don't feel heard, right? They don't feel respected, and they feel like you're not listening to them. So it's very important in communication for equal give and take. people should be treated fairly in communication. Everyone deserves to be listened to, and and everyone deserves to have the chance to speak. We shouldn't be withdrawing communication. um I have brown eyes, brown hair. This verse is for me. um Brown eyes is very rare in the UK, but it's so beautiful to see. Like, I love the combination of blonde hair and brown eyes. That's very rare and it's beautiful. But to be honest, brown hair and brown eyes is very common, and I always find that I don't know if I should say this on here, but I always find that with darker features it always signifies a mix, and it could be I'm not going to try and guess. Yeah. So this first is for you. So I'm glad I'm telling you this first because it's very important. Hello, I am JS Truth. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for saying facts. Welcome to my channel. I mean, welcome to my life, not welcome to my channel. I'm not making any sense. I'm so nervous when I speak on these live videos. But yeah, we struggle. I feel like with society today, we do struggle with communication. I feel like it's so fast paced. Everyone's trying to speak to each other on social media. Everybody wants that fast response. Everybody, you don't have any time for yourself. You have to reply quickly. If you work in a work environment, you have to have the WhatsApp group and you have to respond. It's very and we don't have time to spend time with each other. And the thing is, lockdown was kind of a blessing for some people because it gave them a chance to actually connect with people and to slow down, especially if you live in the city. Most countries tend to be, not every country, but there's countries out there, especially the UK, it's very fast paced. It's almost like you go to work, you come back home, you gotta get up, go to work, come back home. It's very duh, 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 duh. And you don't have time for anyone, you don't have time for family. It's sad. It's very, very sad because, people don't even have time to talk to each other. And when I say that, if someone is going through something really bad, they have no one to talk to. And this is a problem in today's society. It's almost like people are becoming so selfish. They don't want to hear what anyone has to say, and they only want to talk when it benefits them. It's good to see you, sis. Amen. Oh, it's so good to see you here too, bro. Amen to you as well. It's so good to see you. I still need to check out your videos as well because you've been posting a lot of videos and I still need to check it out. If you watch my other video, I am slacking on replies and catching up with everybody. I've got to start prioritizing that. But I will eventually get round to it. But yeah, communication is something that it's important to learn. It's important to better your communication. Listening is the biggest part of communication, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Listening is so important. And one thing I learned is that when people keep repeating themselves to you, it's because they feel like they're not being listened to. And this is what happens. People get frustrated, they start arguing, and I believe that arguing is the worst thing to do. It doesn't solve anything. You go around in circles and it just becomes chaotic. You don't get any results from it. You just end up with the person walking away, hurt feelings, and loss of a friendship. That's okay. Take as much time as you need. Thank you so much for your understanding. And I hope you're okay. I hope everybody on this live is okay. Be kind to your own children. Being kind to your own children is very, very important. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think they can talk to their children in a toxic way. I need to talk about that. I was in the supermarket last week. I can't remember what day. I just know that it was last week, right? And I was on the self scan. So basically, for anyone that doesn't know what self scan is when you go into a supermarket and you literally scan your own shopping and you pay for your own shopping through a machine, right? So there was a lady that was next to me in the self scan, and she was yelling at the child that she was with, right? And she said to him, she goes, "Don't do that, stupid." And I thought, oh my goodness, like, why is she talking to the child like that, right? So I was having a bad day. I was upset that day. I was having an argument with someone on the phone, right? So I was already upset. Like, I was crying my eyes out. I am a bit like that. If I feel like I'm not being understood in a conversation, I start crying. But only if it's an argument. I don't cry if it's a normal conversation. If it's an argument and we're shouting at each other and I feel like I'm not being heard, I start to cry and it's so embarrassing. So yeah, so I thought to myself, is it okay for me to So guys, I always burp when I'm talking. I always do it on live. I don't do it in person, but I do it on live. So I thought, is it okay for me to stand here and watch this child get abused verbally, right? And I thought, should I say something? And a little voice in my head said, Tanya, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Guess what Tanya does? Tanya has a word with this person, right? And it was the wrong thing to do. So I pulled her aside. I said, excuse me. I said, sorry to like bother you. So funny. I said, sorry to bother you, but I kind of witnessed something that I feel like I need to call you out on. I said, I do like podcast videos on my YouTube channel, right? And I've been doing a video talking about how to be a patient mom, and I feel very like drawn to educate parents and how they should communicate with their child, but also I like to support parents and help them to be, to have this healthy balance with their child, right? So I said, I kind of witnessed you said to your child stupid. And from the psychological perspective, I think that it can be very toxic and damaging to a child, especially when they're growing up, because it can make them believe that they are stupid and then it creates a low self esteem. She literally gaslit me. She said to me, did I say stupid? And I thought, oh my goodness. I said, actually, I don't know. I just had to go along with it. I was like, I don't know. I'm too busy scanning my shopping. I overheard it. I don't know if I heard wrong. And she's like, I don't know if I did say that. And I said, okay, if you didn't, it's fine. But I was just educating you to let you know, because I'm all about educating people and letting them know what's fair and what's not. But I said, I know you didn't mean any harm by it. I had to reassure her. I said, I know you didn't mean any harm by it, because I know people do say stupid like casually to children. Like, I know that it's a thing. And she was saying, oh yeah, but I work with children and I wouldn't say that to children, but maybe I said it. And I thought, are you for real? So abusive. And she was like really in denial about what she said. And she did say it. I know she said it because I heard her loud and clear. But because she tried to gaslight me, I just went along with it anyway. And I know that it was not my place to say anything. So I couldn't come on too strong because it's not my place to say anything. But a part of me could not stand there and watch a child get verbally abused the way it did, because the child is interacting, helping her with the shopping, and she's calling the child stupid. That's humiliation. And I had to say something. And I feel stupid for saying it, but I had to say something. And after it, I felt so stupid because, can you believe it? I felt stupid after that because she literally gaslit me. And I just thought, oh my God. So let me read the comments, right? That's okay. Take as much time as you need. Be kind to your own children. Rejection stems from roots of family art. It can also stem from birth as well. You can be rejected from birth, especially if you have a parent that gave you up for adoption, or a parent that doesn't want to know the child and they separated from the parent. A spirit of rejection enters you, and from then you start walking in spirit of rejection, and this is what stops people from walking in their true calling as well. So we have to be careful what spirits we are allowing to enter into our children or the children around us. We can be causing more harm than anything. Verbal abuse is abuse. Yes, amen to that. It is. The parent needed a hug. Do you think the parent needed a hug? I felt so bad for telling her. She said it, that lady capping. I can't believe I called her out. Because I thought to myself, I'm already having a bad day, so it can't get any worse. Like, if I was having a good day, I would not approach her because I didn't want her to come at me. But because I was already feeling low, I thought I can't feel any worse than I already am today. But I'd said it so the child didn't hear me because I wouldn't want a child to hear that. But if she says that to the child growing up, right, the child is going to come for her. The child is going to be like, oh, you call me stupid when I was a kid. Like, it's not good. Be careful how we treat children when they're younger, because they will lash out on us as they get older. Oh, I could have hugged her goodbye. Oh, I never thought of that. I never thought of that. Oh, I should have done that. That's so sweet. I really should have done that. That's made me laugh. Yeah. So, um, yeah, so in communication, we have to kind of like, sometimes listening is more deeper than you think. You have to listen to what the person is trying to say, because sometimes what they're trying to say, it might not be translating to you. And I feel like communication is not just words. And when I say not just words, if you say something to me, I might interpret it a whole different way. Because if you say to a female, you are pretty, if she in her heart doesn't believe that she's pretty, she won't interpret it as you're calling her pretty. She will think that you're trying to win her over or you're trying to gain something from her. Because how people perceive things is based on um this is complex, I don't know. It makes sense in my head. Maybe it could be based on how from their past life experience or their own thought process or how they feel as a person. It's something, it's more deeper than you think. And this is why with our choice of words we have to be careful of how we word things to people. And if we don't have a close connection with someone, we don't know what's happening in their lives, we need to be very careful how we speak to them. We have to tread very carefully. Now her spirit would have been, yeah, a spirit would have jumped on me. I don't want that. Laying hands takes spirit evilness away. Yeah, hugs are very healing. They're very healing. Yeah, they are. So yeah, the be quick to listen and slow to speak. So being slow to speak is, you know, that same concept of not trying to think about what to say next. And being slow to speak is also a good tool because you have to think about what you're going to say next to that person. That person is important right now. That person that's talking is important. And how you respond to that person can make or break the conversation. And this is what a lot of people struggle with. Arguments is counterproductive because when people argue, they're just shouting at each other, da 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 da, and they're not listening. No one's listening to each other. They're trying to be right. They're trying to prove their point, and it's exhausting. It's a waste of energy. It's so counterproductive. It's not even worth it. It's so bad. And some people tend to start arguing when they feel like they're not being heard as well. So I made a few notes on this, guys. I thought that if I make notes, I can stay on track because I'm kind of random as a person. Like when I start talking, I talk about anything. So I had to make notes for this video. Um, so the reason why I'm doing this video is because I've been reflecting and I want to do a reflection on the communication I have with everyone in my life, everybody. But I want to focus mainly on the negative aspects. I don't want to focus on the positive. I feel like talking about the negatives is better because it can talk about things that people haven't really thought about and it might break people free from certain relationships. $100, that's so sweet. So, um, from my notes, I said a conversation should be equal. I believe it should be equal. Both parties should feel like they are being heard. I feel that's very important because what's the point of having one-sided conversations where you're sitting down, you're feeling drained, and you listen to a person talk about a topic that you really don't want to talk about, and it's constant. This is why social media is so toxic because we are talking to people every single day, but we don't get a chance to have a break from that person and catch up with them, is what I'm saying. I used to have a friend in London and we only did phone conversations, right? And it wasn't every day. It was not every day. We had to fit each other in our busy schedule. And when he would call me or if I called him, it was a catch up. It was like a what's been going on in your life kind of conversation, and it was good. It wasn't like talking every day, knowing what's happening, knowing what they're up to. That's boring. It works for some people. It works for long distance relationships because they feel connected. Like long distance relationships, it's so important to talk every day, I think, because you need to feel a part of that person's life and you need to feel connected. Cam candles now. I like live cam candles now. Ah, I like live cam convo. Sorry, I thought you was like talking about like a shop or food or something. I don't know why I thought that. Because you're in America and they have some shops I don't know. I thought you were talking about that. Ah, live cam convos. I forgot about video calls. I forgot about that. I'm sorry, you're not talking about video calls, but video calls are also a good way to connect with people because you can see their expressions, you can see their faces, and it feels a bit more personal. But you actually like live cam convos, like what we're doing now. I think they're quite good as well. A lot of people do live cam convos on Instagram as well, but I actually kind of like it on YouTube. I like it on YouTube. It's quite fun. Gives me a chance to talk to you guys and connect with you guys on a better, deeper level. So my notes are a bit all over the place, so I'm going to try and refer to my notes and then elaborate on it. But first of all, let's not look at my notes, let's just talk about why I'm doing this video. So I'm reflecting like on conversation I've had with people in the past, people that are no longer in my life as well. I'm also doing reflections on that because I want to concentrate on aspect of the demons, right? The demons that are constantly following you, right? And it's almost like you're having the same experience with the same, you're having the same experience with different people, right? Sorry guys, I keep feeling like I need to burp. Sorry. So it's like the same aspect keeps coming back. It's almost like you're talking to the same person again, and it's like you can't escape it, right? So I kind of want to talk about that. And one person that I want to talk about is someone that is no longer in my life. We used to talk a lot, but I'm kind of questioning if the conversations were controlled. That's where my thought process is at, and this is why I'm doing this video. So we're gonna try and find out if the conversation is controlled or not, right? So, oh, you said yeah. So yeah, that's good that you like these live convos. They're really good. I actually enjoy them actually. And it helps me with these videos because once you guys add your input, I can elaborate on it, and it makes the conversation interesting. I finally isolated for 1 year and got away from my demon ex. I got away from demon ex best friends. Now I catch up with you, Tanya, and another good past friend. I catch up with you, Tanya, and another good past friend. So let's see what you said. So you're isolated. So would you say with your isolation you cut off a lot of people? Um, how was your isolation? Because that's amazing that you did isolation for 1 year. I've always wanted to do isolation. But it's hard when you live with people. It's hard to isolate. So you had dynamic ex-best friends as well. And you catch up with me and another good best friend. So you're healthy then. You're connecting with the right people, the people that feed your soul. When you're sober, I do Uber Eats, I work. That's really good. That's really good. And well done to being sober as well. That's really, really good. You're making a lot of good progress. But I got away from bad best friends. That must have been so tough to get away from them because we do form attachments to people. Yeah, form attachments, and you lose a part of yourself as well when you break away from people because you've built memories, you've shared a bond with them, you've exchanged secrets with them, and to cut away from that, you lose yourself. You really do. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Ah, you connected with a past friend. That's interesting. That must be very healing as well, depending on the connection. It can be healing. Very interesting. So with my friends, the one that I'm talking about, um, they were online friends, so they were someone that I connected with, right? I'm not going to go into too much detail about them because it's not about them right now. It's about the conversation, the communication, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch on my points, right? Notes I've made. I'm going to use examples of our communication, of my communication with that person throughout to answer the question, if that makes sense. So, control conversations. So, in terms of control conversations, when I used to talk to this person, I used to feel like they never enjoyed what topics I brought to the conversation. They would tell me, they would sometimes snap at me. They would be very moody. I do feel like they struggle with mental health. So they would sometimes tell me, I don't want to talk about that today. And I would be like, okay, I would respect that. But then I felt like it was always constant. It was almost like they didn't want to talk about anything that I brought to the table, any topic I brought to the table. So I was like, okay, you choose a topic then. So in this case, I feel like if I respect people's boundaries, I understand people do have boundaries, right? But if you don't want to talk about something, at least bring a topic to the conversation, right? Just say that this is the problem with people today. Choice of words is so important. How we communicate to people is so important. You can express your concerns like by saying, don't use this example, but maybe you can say something like, um, I don't feel like today is the right day to listen to what you have to talk about, but I would prefer if we talked about something else. And this person would express that they, they didn't want to talk about this because of da 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 da, and they would say they prefer a light conversation, but then they wouldn't bring a topic. And I just felt like I felt the depth of the friendship. I want to say the depth of the friendship. Do you ever find that when you connect with someone in the past and then you finally reconnect again, it's almost like you want it to be the same. You want the conversations to be the same energy. And then when you see decline in that person and you see that they're no longer that person, or they don't want to engage in the same conversations as before, you don't know how to be. And this is a problem with communication. You have to set the tone for um the chat. You have to set the tone, what you expect from the chat, what do you want from it, and what does that person want from it. You gotta reach each other's needs in the communication. And this is the problem. A lot of people don't know the power of words, and how we express ourselves to people is very vital. We have to know how to get our point across to people. We have to express to them that don't take this personal, but this is how I feel, blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? And set boundaries in communications. If you feel like someone like myself is talking about topics that you really don't like, express that from the beginning. Just say, I really don't feel comfortable talking about this, or I don't want to talk about this today, but we can talk about it another day. Or just say that I would prefer if we talked about this and this and this, because at the moment right now my mental health is not the one, and I kind of need self-care help. Or just express yourself. And this will help you to navigate through life, to know who the right people are for you, the right people you should be communicating with. People should respect each other, I believe. um Stick to your notes in your video. I would try goals. We must share the joy we already have with others. I enjoy your topics. Thank you so much, Luke. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So, in terms of controlled conversations, I feel like a controlling conversation is when you're telling another person what they can and can't talk about, which is fine. That's not a problem. But are we accepting people for who they truly are? Are we allowing them to be themselves? Because if we're limiting them, if I'm someone that likes to talk about the news, for example, right? And that's all I'm passionate about, is talk about the news. And I'll talk to someone about the news and they just say, oh, I don't want to hear about that. They've shut me down, because you're saying you don't want to hear about it, but what do you want to talk about then? And this is when it gets a bit personal. And this is why I really want to do this series, because this is something I'm struggling with some people, is when I talk to them and I just feel like they're constantly telling me what I should not talk about, but then they don't continue the conversation. It just ends there. They don't say, how are you doing? Or they don't continue it. It's almost like it's quite personal, like a personal attack, is what I feel like. And I find that this happens with me and a lot of people. So I wrote down on my notes that control conversation is a form of control and manipulation. So it could be a way of manipulating people. Um, it's also controlling when a person can speak, or what they can talk about as well. I find that I attract a lot of people that when I talk to them, they control when I speak, and they use the silent treatment, right? So if I talk about a topic they don't want to talk about and they've already addressed it to me, and then obviously I overstep them up by talking about it again, they would just ignore me. They would just ignore me. They just won't engage in conversation. They would just shut me out. And then even if I talk about something completely different, they still ignore me. Um, it's almost like the devil doesn't want people to speak. Certain topics the devil does not want you to talk about, is what I gather from this. It's almost like the devil doesn't want you to be heard, and it's almost like it's shutting you down all the time. Open mindedness is best. Spiritual people is good. Yes, people that, the thing is, like, me as a person, like, I'm open to talk about anything, and like if I feel like someone needs to get something off their chest, it's important to talk about it, even if I feel like it's not what I want to talk about. I keep burping, guys. Even I feel like it's something that I don't want to talk about, I feel like it's important that that person gets their feelings and thoughts out to me, so I can understand them as a person. But I guess everyone's different. Words are seeds, takes time to grow, Tanya. Years, sometimes patience. Words are value. Yes, 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 I agree. Words are seeds. Yeah, you can plant, good seeds or bad seeds by using words in someone's head. it does take time for seeds to grow, actually, years. I agree. Thank you so much, Luke. Oh, you're really boosting me up. Thank you so much. So I'm going to refer back to those other points because I feel like everything's all, it's not in order, right? So, um, I personally believe that it's healthy to be around people that you can be yourself with. So I find that naturally I'm drawn to people that like to listen to me. Naturally, I feel like I can be around those people. And I used to always think that, people that like to listen to me, I used to always think in my head, I really like this person, they're really cool. But really, it's because they're meeting my needs. I feel like I'm not heard around a lot of people. So anyone that actually wants to listen to me, I feel naturally drawn to them. And I create this close bond with them. So guys, take a moment to think what qualities in people that makes you feel naturally drawn to, and is it because you're drawn to them because of who they are, or is it because they're meeting your needs? This is what a lot of people haven't realized. So take a moment to think about that. Why do you like the people that you like? Why do you dislike the other people? Because it could be down to your needs. Like, what do you need from people? And those people could be reaching out to your needs, fulfilling your needs, is what I mean. So that's something to think about. So I always like when I can be myself around people, not feel like I'm having a controlled conversation where we can talk about anything that we want to talk about. And if we don't feel comfortable talking about it, I'll say my point. They can say, yeah, I agree and disagree, and we leave it there. Do you know what I mean? They let me say what I need to say. It's part of being, I wouldn't say mature, but it's part of, helping that person to speak about what they need to speak about, because maybe they're going through something with someone, but that person is not allowing them to speak, so they're reaching out to you. So a lot of people that you see venting, maybe they tried to make something work with someone, and that person is withholding communication from them, right? They're not engaging in the conversation. And then that's when they go to someone else. And then because they're speaking to that person so much about that other person, they're getting tired of it. Let's read the comments. Um, I want to share experiences, but I don't know how to. You should share your experiences, but you got to do it when you feel comfortable. Who are they? Or do they meet your needs? Wow, that's powerful. Yes, yes, it's very powerful because sometimes we become so, oh my, your words just hit me because even I feel it deep in my soul that it's very powerful because we don't really think about why we're connecting with the people that we are. We don't know. They could be reaching the needs that we never got met as a child. So as a child, we have needs, and sometimes our parents don't reach those needs. So sometimes you can be drawn to someone that could be the person that you needed in your life as a child. We don't think about the people that we're connecting with and why we're so drawn to them. And it's good to take a moment to think about that. Who are those people, and do they meet your needs? Do they really truly meet your needs? Because we need to be connecting with people on a different level now. This is how we elevate. We can't keep wasting our time with the wrong people. And even those wrong people could benefit us in some way because they could be the driving force of, directing us into the who directing us towards the people who we should be truly connecting to, is what I'm trying to say. So everyone has a vital play in our lives. Everyone has a role in our lives, good and bad. They're constantly directing us into the paths that we need to go onto, or the people we need to connect with. And we have to, it doesn't matter if the person's good or bad, we need to respect people. We truly need to respect people because we don't know their purpose or the reason why they're in our lives today. We don't know. And until we look back on life, we won't know the reason why. So we need to respect everybody. Everybody is important on this, your life journey. Everyone is important and everyone deserves respect. Everybody deserves to be heard, including yourself. Let's read the comments. Great questions. I love doing journal questions. I'm very much into writing. I like to write questions to spark new perspectives and new thoughts in myself and get me to analyze things from a different level. If you guys want me to do more journal questions, I can do that for you. I definitely can do that. Wow, I didn't know that YouTube Live have hearts. I just saw a heart pop up on my screen. I didn't know that. Let's read the comments. My mom left me when I was 14, so you might be struggling with like trust issues. maybe not trust issues, but you might be struggling with neglect because 14 is still a baby. You're still a child. It doesn't matter if you're a teenager, you're still a baby. You haven't entered into the big wild world yet. So when someone leaves you, it's tough. It's very tough, you know. People don't really talk about stuff like this. That's very hard for someone to just walk out on you, especially a loved one. You remember, a mother's role is, you know, they're meant to be there for their child, to nurture them, to love them, to protect them from the world, and to have that person leave, wow, it must have had a big impact on you. My dad was mean person. I gathered that your dad was mean just by the last live that I did because you said that you wish that you and your mom stayed in the UK. So I did figure that something was up with your dad when I read that comment. When I watched the live back, I watched it back about 3 times to, you know, read what you guys are saying to me on the live, and I gathered that there was something up with your dad. Like maybe he was abusive or something. Um, you have God and Jesus only, but you also have like other spiritual people around you because the thing is, you have angels around you, right? You also have people that are on the same mission as you, and they're around. But if we're stuck in our negative thinking or our trauma, we can't see those people around us because we're so clouded. Sorry, I can't speak. We're so clouded from the circumstances that the devil's brought into our lives. So we have to start looking for the good people as well. Obviously, we have to attend to our healing journey as well. But his people around us, there's good people out there. We haven't given them the chance. It's um I'm trying to learn now to ask people for help, and that's something that a lot of people struggle to do as well. Um, so we should only keep people around who meet our needs, not because of who they are. Um, that's a good question. Um, yes and no, because if we keep people around based on our needs, then people will start to feel used and they might walk away. You have to, it's an equal give and take. You have to meet their needs and they have to meet yours. But the whole point of that is setting goals. Start with setting goals. What do you want from life? What do you want from your connections, the relationships around you? Do you want strong relationships where you both can empower each other onto your life goals? Do you want to be nurturing? Do you want to be a good listener? Do you want to be someone that helps someone through their journey? Someone that really helps someone to grow. When you get clear on your goals is when you can see what you need and don't need from people, is what I'm saying. You should always have someone that's above you and someone that's below you. The person that's above you can mentor you and coach you. The person that's below you is the person that you can help get to where you are or where you're going to. Um, so to answer that, so should we only keep people around who meet our needs? It depends on your mental health and where you are in life because um it's about you gotta have a balance in life because I feel like if you were to have like everyone in your life that meets your needs, it won't be realistic because you're gonna always have like family members that you don't want to be around. You're gonna always have those kind of people. Um, but it depends on what your needs are. If your needs are selfish, then no. But if your needs are um elevating that person's life as well, let's talk about needs because I feel like it needs to be talked about because what if you guys drop in the comments what are your needs, like what do you feel like you need from people, what do you need from life? Let's have a discussion about needs. um so she neglected you to neglect to share life experience trauma. Is that about your mom? Did she neglect to share life experience trauma? I understand that now because I also had a mean parent. Ah, Luke, someone's talking to you in the comments. I understand that now because I also had a mean parent and it's hard to accept to listen to everything she has to say or even friends. People who meet your needs are essential. Ah, parents are quite tough. They're very tough, and there comes a time in your life where you have to kind of choose, do you listen to everything they're saying or do you know, it's you got to find a balance because I've let me see if I can try and answer this. Um mean parents. So me and parents, sometimes it depends on the context because for everyone it would be different. There could be gaslighting involved. There could be a way of them using the fact that they're a parent and then they're trying to explain to you that they're the parent. You should listen to everything that they say and you should live life on their terms. I believe it depends on your age as well because you get to a certain age in life where you should live life on your own terms, but there should also be respect between you and your parent. Um, I don't believe you should listen to everything that your parents say as well. Um, because you gotta live your own life. And sometimes friends give bad advice as well. Yes, people. Okay, in your case, I feel like you need people that meet your needs around you, and it's not selfish. It's because you've been around so much chaos, right? And I wouldn't say so much chaos, but you've experienced um some type of meanness in your life. So you need a bit of self love and you need people that feel like healing energy. I saw a quote before that said, surround yourself with people that feel like sunshine. So it's going to be healing to you to be around lovely people, just to reframe your thinking that there is good in the world. There is. Um, but obviously, what I suggest to you might not be what you truly need. So kind of like choose choose what you think I'm saying is correct and disregard anything that you feel like is not correct. I seek God, I guess. Yeah, UK. Um, 10 years great understandings. I try my best. I mean, through everything I've been through in life, I try and be understanding. It's so important. I mean, some people go through some traumatic experiences and they become so bitter in life. They become so horrible as people. So I think it's so good that people that come from traumatic experiences become nice. I'm always strong on being nice. I feel like it's so important in life. I'm not a perfect person, but I try my best to be nice. Marriage is a gift. I should strive to experience one day. Um, I'm not gonna comment on that. I see what the messenger had you. Oh, oh my god, I could cry. I literally. This is such a sweet comment. Oh, my heart is literally like, my heart wants to cry. I could literally give you a big, massive hug right now. Thank you so much for saying that. You're so sweet. And I wish you all the best, like, for your life. I hope that you start, like, looking at the needs that you need from life and just start manifesting that and start surrounding yourself with lovely people like yourself. Like, you deserve to get your needs met. I believe that. You deserve it. You deserve to be around great people. But you can also be around bad people as well. Bad people are never gonna like evaporate from our lives. You need, you know, everything's got balance, right? Good versus evil, dark and light. God doesn't just give you like good, there's always bad. And that's what I'm learning now in life. You can't have this life where everything's always perfect. It's always gonna be some type of bad in your life. Um our parents had mean parents maybe too. Yes, it's usually generation is something that's repeated throughout generations where they don't know any better and they repeat the same. This is what I was trying to do a project before myself, right? And it was really good. It was when I was in my last job, and I started because I love journaling, right? But I had a blog online, and it was my personal blog. Like I wouldn't give it out to anybody, but it was just for my personal use and my notes. And I started off with what was the word? I was analyzing like my home environment and anything negative, I made a note on it, and I started to write about am I being the same? Am I repeating the same behavior? Because my last manager told me that we behave like the five people we're closest to. So whoever you live with, you copy their behavior without realizing. It's psychological. So I when I heard that, I started to look within and I was like, okay, if someone made me feel bad in the home environment, I started to look within and thought, what am I doing to make someone else in the house feel that way? So that I don't learn the bad habits from these people. I want to become so aware to the point that I'm aware of when I'm doing it. And I understand I do have toxic traits. I'm not perfect. I know there's a lot of things that I need to get rid of. I have toxic traits. A lot of people do call me out on stuff and I'm trying to work through them. But we're not perfect, guys. And When people get hurt, we hurt others as well. And this is why parents probably don't learn, because hurt people hurt people. And if you've been raised a certain way, when you have children, you're naturally going to do that. If you were hit as a child, you're going to naturally hit your child as well. Not everyone does that, but naturally you will, because it's how you finally, it's almost like you're now that person that you experience, you're becoming that person that, how do I explain, um like in my life, if I've been hurt, I've also then, after, like, in my life, I become that person that hurt me, and then I'm treating that person the same. And it's almost like you're experiencing life through that person's lens, and that's probably when we are repeating those behaviors. So I do believe we do become aware of what we're actually doing. I don't believe anybody doesn't know what they're doing. I think we are fully aware, because when for example, relationships, when I've been experienced like a bad experience from a guy, I've also been in a situation where the other guy has become who I am, and I'm repeating that behavior. Guys, I'm just going to pause this live for a second. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't interruption. Right, let me read your comments. Yeah, it's definitely a trickle down effect, definitely. And I think that, like, now with people that are coming onto the earth, like generations down, I feel like people are, sorry for any background noise, I don't live alone, guys. So I feel like for people now that are coming onto the earth, they're becoming more self-aware, and they're growing as people, and they're realizing what's toxic and what's not. So I feel like a lot of toxicity is being called out in a lot of situations. I need empathy, unconditional love, and motivation. That sounds like some childhood. Um, that sounds like a childhood thing. That sounds like something that you never got from a parent. That's what I'm gathering. Because with the I need empathy, it seems like you must be a person that is full of empathy, but you never receive that from someone growing up. Um, unconditional love. One second, guys. I'm gonna have to pause again. I've got an interruption. Bear with me. So I'm back, guys. So unconditional love, that could that be because of a parent that only loved you conditionally? So I've learned about this, right? If someone loves you conditionally, it's very toxic. So it's almost like they only show you love when you're on your best behavior. But if you do something that they dislike, then they no longer love you, or they withdraw their affection and love towards you. And that's something I'm trying to learn about, because that's very interesting. And motivation, I've learned that fathers are meant to be good with motivation. They're meant to be the driving force in encouraging their children to do really well in life. I've read that somewhere. And it depends if you had a father figure or not. This is very interesting. I do like talks like this. I also need someone who's realistic. I'm a dreamer. There's nothing wrong with being a dreamer. A dreamer is a beautiful thing. I love being a dreamer. It's good to dream, because it's that concept of, in life, where if you gotta have faith that God's gonna do the impossible, you can't see with your eyes, you just gotta believe it in your soul, right? You've got to believe that God can make the impossible happen, right? So being a dreamer is beautiful, but also dreaming could be a coping mechanism, right? It could be a way of you getting through your problems, because obviously as a child I witnessed domestic abuse, right? Yeah, I witnessed that, and I would daydream in class. I would daydream a lot of class. There was times when everyone's listening to what the teacher's saying, and I would just switch off, and I would just be like this, and I would just daydream for hours. I didn't even know what the teacher was saying. I would just daydream. So I don't know if dreaming could be a way of coping. It could be a way that you survived through something traumatic. Not necessarily traumatic, but it could be through something in your life. Yes, hope is good for dreams, small goals achieved. Ah, but we need to talk about the realistic bit because she said she needs someone who's realistic. So I got a method for you. Do you have a notebook? If you get a pen and notebook, right, and you make notes, right? This is what I did, right? This might help you, but not a bucket list. So this concept might help you. So I went through an amazing phase in my life. This is when I was very worldly. I was into the world. I don't know why I'm smiling, but this was like a good achievement for me. I shouldn't be smiling about being in the world. It's not about that. I'm smiling because this was a good achievement. So what I did was I wrote a bucket list, right? And it said on this bucket list, write everything that if you had no limits, just write it down. Just write down everything that you want to achieve, right? So I did that. Then it said tick off the things that you can't achieve. This is the realistic bit. So you got to be realistic. You got to tick off the things that you can't achieve. So you could maybe do that with your dreams. Write down everything that you want to achieve. Cross out the things. Cross out the things that you can't achieve, right? And then work at the things that you can. So that's kind of like working with your resources. But do you know what I did? This is why I'm smiling. I achieved the first thing I wrote down that was crossed out. I achieved it. And I'll probably talk about that another time, but I achieved that. And I kicked butt for doing that. I kicked butt. I'm so proud of myself. Like I did that. But if I put that energy into like God and achieving things for the kingdom of God, I'd be amazing. So yeah, people do go all out for worldly stuff. Like we put our energy into the worldly things, but if we put our energy into like the right stuff, God will move mountains for us. He will move mountains. So there's nothing wrong with being a dreamer. You just gotta find a balance in everything. But yeah, definitely writing down your goals will help you, give you a sense of direction because you will see what's realistic and what's not. And also maybe getting a coach or someone that you can go to with your goals and be like, I want to achieve this and then they can help you break down the steps. You might not need to do that though. Um, got something that might help you. So there was a guy that I was talking to, and he said that if you want to achieve a goal, you got to be specific on what it is. Like, and I was like, wow, that's deep. So he was saying, um, I told him to make YouTube videos. I said, you need to make YouTube videos, and he laughed. I said, you need to make some. He said, if you want to, for example, lose weight, right? If you write down lose weight, and he said he spoke to someone that said they want to lose weight, and then he said to them how much you want to lose, and they said I don't know, and he said you need to know because if you don't know how you're going to set goals towards it. So he said be specific with what it is, break it down to what it is that you want to achieve, and then when you do that, you can make the little steps towards it. Which was really good of him because when he said that to me, I had a haha moment, like aha moment. I was like, oh, he's right. Because when I set goals, I make them too broad, you know. Like I want to be fluent in Spanish, but on my goals, I always write I want to be fluent. I should write down I want to be able to say a few basic words, for example. Then that's more realistic. Um, let's see the comments. I no longer want to be miserable. I feel great, good energy now. That's really good. Like, keep doing the things that bring you happiness. I find that it's people that make people feel miserable. Virtual hug. Oh, you're so sweet. Goals achieved. That's why I isolated it. It's temporary until you learn to be happy with others again. It sounds like you're blaming yourself or how you're feeling, but isolation in this case is really healthy because it helped you to heal and then you can become a new person around these people and they see that you elevated so they treat you differently. That's the trick. Once you elevate spiritually, people have to get onto your level. Not necessarily get onto your level, but they have to treat you differently because you're no longer going to tolerate any crap from them. um we must grow into our own happiness. Spiritual growth takes time to heal into happiness again forgiveness. Yeah, that's my parents. Yeah, that was my mother. I did not have a father figure. Look how light I am on these comments, guys. When I watch this back, I'm gonna understand what you guys were replying to. Um, yeah, not having a father figure is very hard for females. I never had my father in my life when I was a child, but I didn't have a connection with him, because Obviously, he had other children as well, but he was around. But I don't remember me and him exchanging much of a conversation. We spoke very briefly, but it was in like a connection where it was like, hey, how are you? How was school? I don't remember conversations like that. If I did have that conversation, I do apologize, Dad. But he also had other children. So I think my dad's purpose was to see his children all close. So they were my half siblings. That was his goal. He wanted to see us all, getting along, grow up like, brothers and sisters, right? So if I went to his house, it would be me playing with his kids. That was it. So I never really bonded with him, but I managed to rekindle with my dad again, reconnect with him. It's been challenging, but it's been very interesting. Um, but obviously, I know that not everyone's in a position to reconnect with their dads, and it can be a tough situation for a lot of people. But I could do a video on that to help people if that would be beneficial. But definitely, like when I found my online church, I would say my online church shifted my life in so many ways. It's that my church is very connected with God. It's all about growth, and I remember watching Father's Day service and I felt like crap. I felt like crap. I when there was the surface was calling out dads how so many people have fatherless homes. It was calling out fathers. It was so bad because Mother's Day was positive and then Father's Day was like really bad. And if you notice, Father's Day is on the same day in lots of countries, but Mother's Day varies throughout different places in the world. But Father's Day is all on the same day. But I just remember like wanting to I think I wanted to cry all this hurt and like inside just hearing the Father's Day service. So, a lot of people was talking about how they don't have relationships with the father in the church, like they're talking about in the church. I'll have to talk about that in another video. But the next Father's Day I was talking with my dad. That's how powerful God is. Like I had one service where I was feeling like hurt and stuff, and the next service I'm like talking to him. So God can heal your heart. And sometimes it's not about your heart, it could just be the father. My dad was negative. Oh, it's so tough having a negative dad. I'd hate that. I feel like if I was to live with my dad, I don't think I would get along with him though, because he's very strict. He's very strict. I think dads are very tough. Same as meditation equals daydream thinker. Yeah, dreaming is quite good. Oh, you're so sweet. I feel like Lauren. You're so sweet. You said bless your heart. That's why I said you're so sweet. I'm no longer just in the flesh for needs, but it's all okay. I'm no longer. Ah, that's a very important point, Luke, about being in your flesh and for needs. I think that's when it becomes very selfish and toxic. We will have to talk about that one in another topic. That's a really good point that you added. Yeah, lust, sexual desires. Yeah, yeah. That's very selfish. Guys, I'm really sorry for saying those words on my live. I try and keep my chats clean because I don't know who's watching. I don't know if any children are listening, so I do apologize for saying that word. I conquered my flesh on lust. In spirit is best. That's really good, Luke. Tanya read Matthew chapter and let the spirit fill your heart even more. I'm gonna have to read that. Tanya has a big giant heart. I literally read that and I thought he was gonna say I have a giant behind me. My heart stopped. I thought behind me. Look, I'm so gullible, guys. I forget. Yeah, forgiving your parents is so important. It's very healing to do that. It helps you to move forward. Of them not knowing what to do. I feel like your parents don't understand you, Luke, which is fine. Not everyone's going to understand us, especially if you're a chosen one. They won't always understand you. God is our new father. Yeah, God's the best father anyone could ask for. For those that don't have a father growing up or don't have a father figure at all, God's your father. But God assigns the job of a father and a mother. They're meant to be our spiritual parents on earth. That's their job. Their job is to be the parents that God wants for us. You know what I mean? They have a duty. And this is what a lot of people don't understand with parenthood. You have a big responsibility. Your job is meant to deliver what God needs you to install into that child's brain, to help them onto the path in life. And a lot of people don't know this. Holidays make me sad. Do you mean like holidays, like vacation, or like things like Christmas and stuff like that? Oh, but your daddy's proud of you, Tanya. Do you mean like Father God up in heaven, or do you mean my actual biological father? Oh, my heart. Um, our parents need to understand God. See, you see, the thing is, what parents don't understand is your child knows and can see that the things that you need to heal from, especially generation trauma, they can children call you out on your traumas and stuff, and a lot of parents don't want to hear it. If they listen to their children, they'll be able to grow and adapt to that child. Um, God of our hearts. Luke, you're so powerful. You're so powerful. So, what was I talking about, guys? So, let's go back to my notes. It might help me. The reason why I'm cutting off my head is because my hair's a mess, guys, and I'm just not into doing myself up for YouTube. I want to keep myself as natural and plain Jane as possible. I'm not going to be coming on the internet to impress people. I just want to get the message out to people. That is my aim. And this is kind of how I look anyway on a day-to-day basis. Like I literally go out with no makeup. I just don't have the time to be putting on makeup. Um, so yeah. Let's see. When I'm looking at my notes, guys, when a person can speak or what they can talk about, it's helpful to be around people that you can be yourself with. Oh, I was talking about needs, wasn't I? That's what I was talking about. Um, And then I said how I'm naturally drawn to people who are good listeners. Choice of words, we're going to cover that in a bit. I'd rather we didn't talk about it as I'm going through a tough time. Oh yeah, that's setting boundaries in relationships. Um, let's see what I can talk about because it's all my notes are all over the place. For anyone that's tuning in right now, my notes are all over the place. Um, I think I think right. Let's just use an example, right, guys? So in conversations, right, a person should respect that you're talking about something and they should understand that it's important to you, right? And it's something that's bothering you, right? So if they're talking to you and they're not in the head right space, their choice of words should be so clear that you won't get upset. They let you know that, they're going through a lot right now and, they're quite busy and they haven't got the capacity to, you know, respond to you how you'd want, but they'll be willing to listen. Like communicate, guys. Work on your communication. It's so important because sometimes we push people away, we shut them out, and if we push people away, they're gonna feel lonely and isolated, and they feel like they have nobody, and then they're going to sadness. We don't want to cause harm to people. Um, Mutual needs is fine. Yeah, mutual needs is fine, and obviously not everybody knows that they should be catering to people's needs. Some people are quite selfish and controlling. So let's just go back onto my points. Um, this is very hard to cover because it all makes sense in my head, but I'm just going to start from the top. So, um, when you're entering into a conversation with someone and you feel like you're not understanding them, ask yourself, what does that person need from this conversation? Because sometimes someone just needs someone to listen to. Sometimes they need someone to give them advice. There's different needs when people talk to people, and because the English language is not so clear, if you sorry guys, I'm like burping throughout this live, it's so embarrassing. Because the English language is not so clear, people don't know how to express themselves much. And if you notice when someone's saying something to you in English, you have to ask them what do you mean? Or explain more. Like it's not clear. And sometimes if we don't understand someone fully, we don't know what they're trying to say. Um, so it all goes back to being quick to listen and slow to speak. Let me just go through all my notes. Let me just read all my notes out to you and I'll give examples. That might be the best way to quickly pace through these because I've been on live for so long, guys. So control conversations. I do believe that people do control conversations. They use silent treatment. They use shutting you down as a person and telling you what you can or can't speak about as a way to control what you can talk about. That's why I said it's so important to surround yourself with people that let you be yourself, people that let you feel comfortable in talking about what you want to talk about, obviously to a certain extent. Set boundaries with people that make you feel bad. Um, um, Controlling when a person can speak or what they can talk about. If you're gonna control what someone can talk about, you should at least bring another topic to the table. Um, One-sided relationships are not good as well. I find that a lot of people that are one-sided, they don't want to talk about what you want to talk about. They want to talk about what they want to talk about. Um, let's see. Let's talk about closure. So when people go through a breakup, right? And let's get my notes. Why have I put my notes away? When people are going through a breakup and that other person that the relationship's over, but they want closure. Have you noticed that a lot of people don't get closure? You always get people giving the silent treatment. They don't want to talk about it. They're withholding communication. That is manipulation because from my notes I said you're preventing that person from getting answers and it's causing them harm and it's a way for you to gain control and power over that person and it's mentally ill. I literally put on my notes it's mentally ill. It's keeping someone trapped as well. Obviously, I understand people have boundaries, and if they don't want to talk about the closure in that moment, that's fine. That should be discussed. But that's going to cause that person to then go and speak to other people about you and the problem. And then when they're talking about you and the problem to someone else, then the other person gets tired of listening to it and it becomes a domino effect. And then that person just feels alone and they don't know what to do. Let's stop keeping people trapped in situations. If the relationship is over, talk about it as a mature adult, a mature human being, right? Talk about it. Say this is what's happened. This is the answers you want. Let's move on with our lives and goodbye. That's it. Stop keeping people trapped where they feel like they have to keep thinking about it, thinking, oh, why is this relationship ended? Like, were they cheating, whether this, whether that. Let's end this, you know, confusion. Let's stop withholding communication. You were talking in the relationship and now you don't want to talk. It's abuse. It's actually it's silent treatment's class as abuse. I think it's meant to be um I think it's mental abuse and emotionally abuse as well because emotionally you're cutting yourself off from them and it's mental abuse as well because it's all head games. Um Share life together, achieve goals together. That is the goals. If only like people that realize that they don't want someone in their life and they let them go so they can meet those people that actually do want those people in their lives. It's good to walk away from people. If you don't get closure, just walk away. There's no point staying around, waiting for that person to finally open up. It's not worth it. Um, let's have a look. Yeah, so it's withholding communication. That's very toxic and controlling to withhold communication, control what that person can talk about, when they can talk about it, ignoring them when they do talk about it and you don't want to hear it. Be grown and actually talk about what you want or don't want from the conversation. Um, yeah, it's as simple as that, guys. But to summarize, I do think that conversation can be a form of control. It can be. It could be a way to shut that person down from talking, especially if you're not having an equal give and take in the conversation and you're just wanting to, you know, not talk at all. Like, be real, just say to them you don't want to talk today, just say that, express yourself properly. Um, Forgive our exes. Yeah, it's very important to forgive our exes. Yeah. And some people genuinely don't want to give you that closure and they don't want to talk about it, and that's fine. It's fine if people don't want to talk about topics, it's fine. But we have to stop being selfish as people and think about does that person want to move forward? What am I doing to stop them from moving forward? Let's have those difficult conversations. Um, but I feel like I covered everything now. I don't feel like I missed anything off my notes. Um, yeah, so to summarize, guys, I've been on the live for so long, but to summarize, um, surround yourself with like-minded people who make you feel like sunshine. If you are engaged in a conversation with someone that's not meeting your needs, set boundaries. Obviously, to gauge a conversation with them, you can only talk about what they want to talk about, which is fine. If you're happy with that, that's fine. But if you're not happy with that, move along and find someone else that's better to talk to, someone that makes you feel like yourself. And um, yeah, sorry, I got distracted by a comment. It's a great live stream, very inspirational. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, beautiful music. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you tuned in. Yeah, it's very powerful because yeah, I agree, Luke. We should forgive ourselves. Communication is very important, and sometimes we keep ourselves in a toxic loop by engaging in conversations with people. And I find that when people don't give us closure, we are stuck around waiting for those answers, and we're wasting a lot of time in life waiting for those people to finally have that conversation with us. And some people don't want to have that conversation, but they're not going to tell you that they don't want that conversation. They're going to just leave it like that, and you're just waiting for them to actually tell you. And this is a thing I find that in a lot of relationships, when a relationship has a decline, it's almost like you see them become a different person, and you expecting the old version of them to finally give you the closure, but they're not going to do it. They don't respect you enough to tell you. That's the honest truth. They don't respect your time. They don't want you to move on as well. So they're not going to tell you. So we need to be aware of who we're connecting with, and, you know, yeah, make sure our needs are being met as well. And you might find that you're drawn to certain people because they're meeting your needs, because the people around you are not meeting them. So yeah, as I said, I tend to be very drawn to people that actually listen to me. I like being listened to. I don't like feeling unheard. And I'm gonna do more videos about this topic. We're gonna talk about different aspects of it. But yeah, this is just the one where I'm talking about controlled conversations, where you're talking to people and they're literally shutting you down. They're saying, "Don't want to talk about that." But, let's not talk about that. And then you come with another topic again and they're saying, let's not talk about that. It's very strange. Um, Parents. Oh, thank you for saying it's amazing live stream as well. I feel like, Lauren. Parents must teach, but they never do. Sad. Um, yeah, it's very sad. And, you have to kind of look at the age of your parents as well, because if you think about it, like today, parents today are going to be so great. Well, I'm hoping that the parents today, like especially in my age group, they're great parents, because I find with the older generation, they don't really know a lot. They're very old fashioned, they're not very, a lot of their parenting is actually discipline. Like they probably just hit their child without actually speaking to them. um and they kind of do mimic how their parents raised them as well. So we have to kind of sympathize with our, older parents, because they don't know, and they thought that was the right thing to do. And um some parents can be very neglectful as well. They don't really talk to the children or teach them about life as well. And that's quite sad, because then that leaves a child to navigate life on their own and learn on their own, and make a lot of unnecessary mistakes that they wouldn't have made if their parents actually spoke to them. Um, but yeah, definitely like healing the aspect of your parents is very important. You might find that surrounding yourself with other parents might be healing to your soul as well, and just, you know, relearning like how a parent should be might be healing. And it's not too late to get a parental figure as well, regardless of how old you are. Because in my church, my pastor said that he is also a father to many grown women that don't have fathers. Like he is their father, and he would address them as daughter. From women that don't know how to be, don't know how to treat a father. So he has to still show them love and kindness, because that's what God would want. He has to still be patient with them, but he receives a lot of negative energy from that. Also, it's good to heal parent wounds as well before getting into relationships, because if you don't heal that, it's going to be hard to connect in a relationship as well. It's not impossible, but it might be bad. Some people find that grandparents are good parental figures as well. Some people find a alternative parent figure. Um, you will be great in all and many podcasts. You're so sweet. Thank you so much, Luke. Do you know what? I just want to thank you guys all for tuning into my live. Like, I hope it's helped someone. If you do have any questions on anything I covered, I'd be happy to answer that. I don't know what my next video is going to be. There's still like another video that I need to talk about, which I put on the on my page. Um, but I definitely need to do more videos. I just felt like this one would be necessary for today, because it's a light topic and it doesn't require much thinking. Sometimes I don't like to use my brain. Healthy boundaries and respect in house. Yes, 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 yes. Um, it depends on the person as well, because when you're a parent, you forget that you're the head of the house, right? So if you're the head, you need to set the rules. And when you have a child in the house, you have to change those rules. You have to adapt it to meet their needs as well. It's not just about your needs. And I think a lot of parents forget that a child has needs as well, and they enforce their needs onto the child. This is when it becomes very unhealthy and imbalanced. some parents feel like that child is responsible for their needs, right? So they impose that on the child, and you know, that child's not allowed to have any emotions, but only they can have any emotions. I'm gonna have to do a video about these, guys. Um, but yeah, thank you so much, guys. I'm gonna tune out. I've been on this live for like 1 hour and 24 minutes. I cannot believe I've been on live for so long. I cannot believe that. Okay, sending you guys, I'm sending you guys a lot of love. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you do have any questions, you're more than welcome to leave them in the comment section below. If you want me to talk more about this topic, then also let me know. If there's anything that I've talked about, just tell me in the comments that you want me to talk more about it, and I'll do that as well. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I got another burp. Sorry, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and hope you guys all have an amazing day. I love you all, and take care, everyone, and stay blessed. Bye.